today we are going to talk once again about the Lone Star Disc Warbird. Now, if you're one of the couple hundred people who saw my earlier video, you say, well, Matt, you already did a Warbird video. I did, but I only did it about this one, the Bravo one. And today we're talking about 3 of the plastics. The Warbird comes in 4 total plastic. It comes in the Alpha. I have this pretty nuclear burst looking Alpha here. The Bravo, my Bravo is kind of translucent and champion lucid type looking plastic. And then it also comes in a glow plastic, which is very similar to this type of Bravo. It looks almost the same, but glows. And then there is the Lima, the brand new lightweight Warbird. And the Lima is all lightweight plastic. I think they're all 160 and down. This one's 157. And I took these guys all out to Gatewood and some shots in the fields as well in various spots that I'll throw in the video. And I think it's really interesting that despite the plastic differences, they mold up remarkably similarly. If you take a look at the Alpha, the profile may look slightly similar to any other 12-speed glidey overstable driver you have, except it's got some unique things. It's got a very even dome. A lot of discs in this category have either a really, really scooped out rim or it's really, really fine. This one's a little more blunt, kind of like, Destroyer type profile there. Not as sharp as something like a Force or a Giant, and a really, really even dome, which is something that's kind of rare among all this. And you'll see that that carries across all the different plastic types. The Bravo is almost exactly the same. And then even the Lima and the lightweight plastic, have to ignore where I smacked some trees, but remarkably similar as well. So I took these guys out, threw them on a variety of lines, actually all forehand lines because they're pretty overstable, and I didn't see a backhand hole where I really wanted to use them, but thought it was a lot of fun. Hopefully you guys will find it interesting, and we'll recap at the end. Thanks for watching. So we'll start out in the field with the Bravo one, just giving these guys a toss. See, it gets a little bit of turn with a nice gentle late fade, about 415 feet. Got the Alpha going now. This one gets a little bit more stability on it and goes about 425. The Lima, you'll see here, gets a good bit of turn out of the hand on a touch of anhyzer, but whips back hard at the end, going the farthest at 440. Going over to Gatewood, we're doing an uphill hole here. It's about 400 feet. The Alpha does great. Even with the stark uphill at 400 feet, it ends up edge of circle 2. The Lima, I pushed it a little bit too hard. It clips a tree on the left and ends up by that big rock on the right-hand side, but that's not a bad spot to be. The Bravo actually goes the farthest. It's pin high way up the hill, but it's way off to the left in a hard spot. It turned more than I wanted. Hole 8 here, you're going way downhill, then back up the hill even further. Trying to get to the edge of the circle with this one, and the Alpha almost gets me a putt. Good shot there. With the Lima, I overturned it just a little bit. It ends up in the flat. Not really where you want to be, but not the worst miss. And the Bravo is very similar. They both turned more than I thought they would. Ended up in that flat bottom. Hole 11 is a dog leg way to the right down that hill, about 350 feet. I usually go something a little more overstable and slower than this, but the Alpha comes out pretty good. It's actually on about the right line, but it hits that tree and bounces into the fairway. Easy up and down from there. With the Lima, I execute the shot basically exactly how I want to, hugging that inside line, getting some skip, and it's on the circle's edge. The Bravo, I pushed that one a little bit too straight, and it's pin high, but it's deep in the woods right behind left of the basket. Now we're jumping over to hole 14. This one's well downhill at 555 feet. My best drives end up near the circle on this, but you got a lot of trees to miss, which this Alpha one did not. So it's about 300 feet down there in the fairway. Going to my Lima one now, trying the similar line. And this one just pures it. It's great. It's about 425 feet down there. Good up and down for a birdie 3 on this one. And with the Bravo, it's almost the same shot. It probably actually would have been really close to the pin, but it hits a late tree and ends up right by the Lima. Now we're on hole 15. This one goes uphill through that gap, and that's about 350 feet, and then goes way left. So you're just trying to kind of land it in that area. Alpha does exactly what I wanted. You have to go across this little street and then up to the left. And the Lima does pretty good. It's not a bad spot to be, but a little bit more left. And then on the Bravo one, I kind of overcooked that one a little bit, too much anhyzer, and it ends up more left than I wanted. You can hear it bang that tree. Finishing up on hole 20. The Alpha didn't get enough height on it, but it had a nice flight. Ended up kind of edge of circle 2. And the Lima by this point was turning more than I wanted, and turned over a pretty good bit there. It's way off to the left. The Bravo, I take a really wide line. I did not mean to go quite that wide, but it ends up parked. So I guess it all worked out there. So to see the flight after they've had a heavy round of use, and some of these several rounds, the Alpha chucking across that open field. This one's about 425 feet. Basically perfect forehand bomb shot. The Lima has some pretty substantial turn to it at this point. It still goes far. It's about 420 feet, but it's way down there to the left. And then the Bravo, nice, smooth, easy. And this one ends up way down there by the number 19 pin. That's about 465 feet. So as you can see, the Warbird is a really nice, overstable distance driver. It's overstable, not to a crazy degree. I think that -1.3 is a pretty accurate number. The most overstable of my 3 is the Alpha one with the burst in the middle there. It'll hold an anhyzer a long way, but it'll almost always pan out to flat. And on hole 14, it held that line for a really, really long time, and it would have been perfect if it hadn't clipped that tree. The Bravo one, I think, is maybe a little glidier than the Alpha and a little less stable, but not too much more so. Still fairly beefy, but I think if they all fly this way, then if you're not a super high-powered player, this one might be a very good bet for you. And the Lima was interesting because it was almost as overstable as the Alpha to start. And then the more I threw it, the more trees I hit with it. It actually wears in a little bit quicker, and by the end it was markedly less stable. So if you take a look at the profile, you can see right there the result of a couple pretty solid tree hits have left that rim not in the best shape. While this one has tons more rounds, dozens more rounds, and other than a couple scuffs on the rim, no signs of wear, hardly at all. And this one's almost as many rounds as that Bravo one and looks basically pristine. So kind of depending on what you're looking for. If you're looking for one that'll beat in quick to be that big time bomber disc for you, take a look at the Lima. If you want something that's a little more overstable and has amazing durability, I think the Alpha is the way to go. And if you're kind of in the middle, you like those glidey destroyer D2 type discs, take a look at the Bravo. I think it's a great option for those middle of the road, semi-overstable shots, or a wind fighter disc for a mid-powered player. If you're a beginner, probably stay away from these unless you want to wear in one of those Lima ones to try to get max distance out of it. But overall, amazing disc from Lone Star. This is probably my favorite they've made so far. And these guys are not coming out of the bag anytime soon. So thank you very much for watching. Hope you have a great day, and see you in the next one.